Stabbings are not something that happen at breakfast. They're not something that happened in St. Augustine. They're not something that happened with a stranger. So the whole thing is like the trifecta of really bizarre.
Only on First Coast News at 11, a St. Augustine priest who survived a brutal stabbing is speaking out 1 year later. Thank you for joining us tonight for First Coast News at 11 on this Friday. I'm Heather Crawford. Anthony Austin has the night off. Tonight, the priest is sharing his story of strength, healing, and the faith that saved his life. Our Cindy DeShawn sat down with Father Marino, rector of Trinity Parish in St. Augustine, and shows us how he's found peace 1 year after he was attacked.
When you hear him preach, you'd never know Reverend Matt Marino bears scars.
I'm not afraid of anything anymore.
That tell a different,
I'm clearly here because the Lord wants me here.
kind of testimony.
I kind of looked down and sort of shocked said, "Hey, you just stabbed me."
It happened here on San Marco Avenue in St. Augustine, October 23rd, 2024.
I was just getting breakfast with a friend and we were sitting there talking and somebody sort of walked by with their arms folded.
It was a random and an unprovoked attack by a stranger.
I think what she said was, "I have a lot of problems," or something like that. And so I put my chair down. I was leaning back and I put my chair down and she leaned over and just sort of did that number.
The knife piercing his chest, puncturing his lung and pulmonary artery.
I knew if I don't get on the ground, I'm going to pass out. And killing yourself while dying is even worse than dying.
A Customs and Border Protection trainer just happened to be driving by with a combat chest seal in his bag.
He had that thing on me in under a minute, and it's probably why I'm alive today.
Paramedics rushing him to the hospital. His chances of survival upgraded to just 1%.
And the trauma surgeon said, 35 years in combat surgery, I've never saved anybody with your injury.
1 year later, the gravity of that miracle still weighs on him, but so does the power of forgiveness.
The first one to forgive is the first one who's free.
In St. Augustine, Cindy DeShawn, First Coast News, on your side.
Wow, what an incredible story of survival. And his accused attacker, Ariana Gibbs, is due back in court November 3rd. She was arrested just hours after the stabbing and was once found incompetent to stand trial. However, that changed in May.